Good morning, my fellow gardeners. I hope this week has been going well for you. I didn't publish any more videos this week, and that's because of the weather. It has been raining almost every day, which is absolutely fantastic for the garden, and probably the garden loves it, but for me, working out here in the garden is a little problematic when it is raining. So I did a few things yesterday. I did a whole bunch of stuff yesterday, and I'm going to show you as well. But I hope you enjoy our weekly garden tour of my 9B garden, and don't forget to subscribe and give us a thumbs up because we have two garden zones that we actually show here, and one is the 5B garden, which is Bobby's garden, and then the 9B garden, which is mine. So I'm gonna get to it and show you what we have going today, and I'm just going to be doing the tour today and a walkthrough. So I'm hoping to finish this walkthrough before people get wild and crazy this morning. And so I'm going to start here with my little garden trellis. And I'm going to start here with the garden trellis. And I'm thinking that this might be a little fuzzy because it's so damp out here. We got some humidity going on the camera. But this is my rondinise. And it is growing lovely. I had this in a 5-gallon bucket. There's actually 4 plants, and then when I realized that was going to be too small, I transferred it. I wasn't sure if it was going to make it or not, but it's looking quite good right now. We do have some yellowing leaves, but I believe that's from the rain. And then here on my TP garden here, I finally started planting something in here. I put some cowpeas in here. I think I'm just going to put beans in here, and I'm kind of succession sowing them, so I don't have any more new ones going just yet, but this week I'll plant some new ones, and I don't have anything else in these buckets. And then let's go back here. This is a melon plant right here, and you can see it's looking nice as well, and it has beautiful flowers on it. And hopefully it will go over to the TP. Well, I'm going to try to train it to go over to the TP so it can go up. I don't know how far it's going to go up. And then we have some Chinese long beans here, and they are starting to wrap. I didn't really do anything, and they're starting to wrap. You can see around my little homemade trellis here. So I'm excited to see how those look once those beans start coming on. And you remember at one time there was nothing over here, and now it's looking pretty green and lush. And then here I have my yellow squash, and I was kind of sad this morning. I was going to do some pollination, hand pollination, but I have some females but no males this morning, so that's quite unfortunate. So they won't be able to get pollinated because I think those flowers may last for 2 days. So if I don't get another male, then those won't get pollinated. I've actually gotten quite a bit of yellow, well, not a bit, but I've gotten like about 3 yellow squash off of here so far. But you can see there are quite a few down in here, but again, no males sticking out, unfortunately. And also, I did a treatment on this plant because it was quite yellow and the leaves were almost turning white, and it's doing pretty good right now. Now look at my zinnias. They finally came up this week, and I got really worried because it's been raining and windy and kept knocking these over, and they are doing really well. And this orange one was the first one to come out. And I can't remember I think this packet came from the dollar store, the seeds. And so it was mixed. And I'm surprised I got all different colors. And I'm just happy about it. I love the zinnias. And I think my aloe likes the rain because when I just kind of water it regular like, it turns brown, and then once the rain comes it turns green. So I'm loving that. Behind there I have a bell pepper plant, and you can see the white buds there, and also we are actually getting some bell peppers on there, so yay for that. And I really need to take care of this because this is my white potatoes down here, and they need to be, the dirt needs to be mounded up on those. And the other one, still nothing to see there, but that's okay. Then the radishes are suffering from some fungus, but I mean, I could take radishes out of here anytime. Now look how big those radishes are. I call this my Radish Forest. And then this is another bell pepper plant that just needs to be transferred to something bigger. It's still kind of small. I did do some transferring this week, but I just couldn't get to everything. It was just too hot outside. And this is my little flower garden that has cosmos, zinnia, and nasturtiums. And I don't think the nasturtiums came up, but you can see there's some zinnias and I have one cosmos. So I'll probably plant some more different plants in here as well. And the zucchini plant, I think it has some powdery mildew issues that need to be treated. I have to come out here and treat a lot of stuff. And I've gotten one zucchini, and there's really nothing else growing on here just yet. So we shall see. The water baby melons are doing quite well for the ones that came up, and I don't know, because of the rain, it's something weird. And if you all have done melons before, you can let me know. Look at that. That baby melon turned completely black, and I think it's just because of the rain. And I have quite a few like that, you'll see. I have one here. He looks like he's gonna make it. I don't know. But then what I discovered today, because y'all, this is like my walk around. Look at that. Look at those little balls on there. I don't know what that is, so I'm gonna have to do some research, but I'm sure it's some kind of an insect, maybe a caterpillar and such. Look at that. And I really need to do some insect treating. And then we have my Boob Garden here. The zinnia is getting super tall. And down here, these were supposed to be wildflowers. I don't know what's growing in these, except for that one zinnia. But, and also the roots are coming up on the zinnia. I already knew after the zinnia started growing that was going to be too small for that one. So I'm going to try to transplant it. But y'all, look at my okra plant. Look at those stalks on this. This definitely has some aphid-ist stuff going on it. And again, you can see right there, something's living on my plants. How dare they live outside of my house in my garden. And then here, the tomato plants. The tomato plants, they're kind of not doing too much, and I'm okay with that. This is the husky red tomato that I transplanted. And then this one over here, same thing. It has tons of blooms, but it's just been too hot. And I did get one tomato off of here, and there's another green one on here as well. But I understand they don't like the heat. And then we have the carrots, and they're just going. They have lots of foliage at the top, but there's no like significant carrots growing in there just yet. And then of course, y'all, there's a lot of stuff going on down here. I did transplant a few things yesterday. Look at my comfrey. I'm going to be transplanting that soon, and I'll show you where I'm going to put that at. We have the dill is going mad right now. I was worried that the dill wasn't going to make it, but it's doing quite well. And then, you know, and I don't know, that's supposed to be lavender, but I don't know if it's lavender or not. And I don't know if that is rosemary or not. That one little sprig there. And then I know something is growing in here that shouldn't be growing in here. And this is spinach. I wanted to get the seeds off of here from the spinach plant. It's just growing wild. And this is peppermint, and it did real well once I transplanted it. So I'm going to transplant it again, but I'm not going to put it in the ground because I know that that's an invasive plant. But all of my little nursery plants are doing good. I still have a few tomatoes that I need to transplant as well. And I don't know if I introduced you all to Prince Charming. Look at Prince Charming down here in the fountain. The fountain isn't getting full sun right now, so it's just bubble. And I need to kind of clean my little fountain area up too. Got a lot of algae in there. Because, you know, if anything wants to drink out of there, I want it to be safe. And here's some things that I planted. I have some roselle in here. I have another squash plant because I want to do succession sowing on the squash plants. This is my chamomile, which really needs to be transplanted if I can. Got some more dill going. Nasturtium, which is looking quite lovely. And some kohlrabi. So yay, got that going. On the side, I have my cowpeas are going, and I actually harvested lots of cowpeas yesterday. So you can see some are still hanging here, and I can take those off actually. And I have them in the house drying. You can kind of take them off at various stages, but they did really well on this trellis. And so I have some more cowpeas growing in the garden. And y'all, look at this. This is my melon plant that's growing up under the shade. And what my plan was to kind of move the shade and then let the melon plant go across the trellis, but after I did it, I thought that was kind of dumb. I was like, well, I should have just left it and then let the melons and the beans and everything just grow on top of the shade. But what's happening is it's growing underneath, but it's growing, so I'm just going to leave it alone and see what happens. So this is the other side of where the cowpeas are at. You can see they're still growing nicely. And over here we have the melon plant, the other side, and it has lots of flowers in there. You can see the flowers, quite beautiful. And then this is the other two, my other two okra plants here, and they're looking quite lovely. And everything has aphids on it, y'all. Everything. So I have to go through and wash everything down. And I definitely have to do a pest control treatment today. I'm going to use the Captain Jack's Dead Bug Brew for that. And I'll leave a link below to what I use. And it works really well. As you can see, let me see if I can get to it. You can see here. Right there. It's hard to see where the ants and the aphids are trying to take over my plants, but I'm not gonna let them. And that's my little sorry looking nasturtium plant. It's so sad, but it's alive. I've actually eaten some of the leaves off of here. It's alive, and I'm okay with that. And then I have two bell pepper plants right here, and they're not doing too much, but I think I'm gonna move them to a shaded area. And y'all notice something? The sunflowers are gone. They were pretty much done, and so I went ahead and I took them all out. So what you're seeing now is just the stakes that I had in here. So I'm really just going to clear this whole area except for these, because these are sunflowers as well. And they're already starting to get heads on them. Look, I'll show you. See if my camera will pick it up. Right here, the sunflower head there that I just noticed just now. So some of them are getting heads. So we'll see how those go. And this is my banana pepper plant. And it's looking pretty good. Has a little bit of fungus damage from the rain, and then the marigold plant is behind it. I actually turned this around so I could get to it a little bit easier. And then over here are more cowpeas. Yeah, look. Y'all find tons of these little lizards out here, which are a good thing. Maybe those are what's pooping on my plants. Maybe it's lizard poop. And down here I have some bunching onions, and actually they're not doing too shabby. It's just a few of them. I'm gonna plant more of those, and then I have some more peppermint, and I don't know what this is, but it's getting a flower on it. I have no idea. Oh, and also you'll see this trellis is looking a bit empty, and that's because I took some of the cucumber plants out. The one that I took out, it just wasn't doing anything, and it just looked terrible, so I went ahead and took it out. But I did spot some more cucumbers on some of the other plants, so I left them for now. Here is my eggplant. Y'all look at the eggplant. I'm going to show y'all on the back of this. Look at that. The ants done brought dirt with them for their aphids, and they're all over this plant. They must be living inside of my eggplant. So I'm going to have to look at that. They're just having a party. So I'm definitely going to have to do something about that, because I feel like they may be stunting my eggplant's growth. But I was told by a friend yesterday, thank you friend, that eggplants don't like the heat either, so they may not do anything right now, but they will later, so that's kind of cool. And this was my beautiful sunflower that had multiple heads, and it is totally done. So I'll be taking this bucket out, or I'll be replacing this with some things that need to be transplanted. I also took my beans out as well, so that bucket is empty. And then I did transplant and put some more bell peppers in. And you can see the tomato plants. They are moving quite slow now with the maturity of the tomatoes that are on here. But I'm not going to go in there because I see a spider web. But they're still growing. Look how tall they are. They're actually going through the canopy, so to speak, and which is quite cool. And they're still producing, so they look terrible. They're still producing. I'm going to leave them in, and I'm not going to go in, but I do have new bell peppers on this plant as well, on my bell pepper plant. And y'all look, my morning glories are crazy right now, and they look like they might have some buds on them, because I haven't had any flowers on these just yet. So I don't know, we'll see. And we have a little Gandalf down here. Hi Gandalf. And then you can really see how badly the cucumber plant has been doing. But I found some cucumbers on the plant yesterday. Actually, this is a newer plant over here, and it's starting to look kind of gnarly as well. And I found some hidden cucumbers in there, and they were not bitter, and I was very surprised. So we'll see what comes out. I did see, let's see if you can see in there. There's a few more cucumbers in there. I don't know if you can see them hiding away. So we'll see if those come out, if they are not bitter. Now we are at the I Want to Live garden. I call it the ICU unit. But it's more like the I Want to Live garden, kind of. Now it's just a secondary garden. And here I have the basil lettuce. And this is a pretty shady part of the yard. As you can see, it's a little junky and getting overrun by weeds and whatnot. But you can see those are looking quite lovely. That's leaf lettuce. And then we have the borage. Definitely is doing better back here. It was kind of stunted out in the sun. And then here we have two contender plants. And I actually had put 2 plants in each one of these little buckets, and they did not grow. And so, well, they didn't come up. So I'll probably be planting some more back here and see how they do. And then here in ICU, the cucumber plant is doing well. I don't think I have any cucumbers just yet. You can see there. No cucumbers just yet. And then some melons. And then they're growing quite slow in the ground, but they're doing okay. So I'll probably be putting more things back here in this part of the garden. Here is that giant. Now you can really see how big this marigold plant is. It's ginormous. I moved it to the front. Since it had such beautiful flowers, I kind of wanted to put it here to the front where I could enjoy it a little bit more. And I did take some cuttings off of here for some transplants. And then this is one of the lemon trees that I inherited. And I'm really taking a shot of it for prosperity. It's nothing new going here, but it's looking quite lovely. And here is the other lemon plant that I inherited. And I don't know, I have to look this up and see why these tips are turning brown on this plant. I know it needs some fertilizer for sure, but it's getting some new buds, which is kind of cool. Or should I say some new leaves. So I know it is alive and it's happy right now. Here is my generational plant here. And my neighbor thought it was so lovely, and so I gave her a piece because I actually have quite a few pieces down here. Behind here is some type of a cane plant, but I'm not exactly sure what type. But I found that it really loves being outside, so I put all of my plants outside. Now this area is a bit different, and I'm still kind of working on it, but in baby steps. Y'all look at all that beautiful kale. I have a kale forest finally, and I think I'm going to be eating some of that kale, maybe make some kale chips. I have harvested quite a bit of my Swiss chard here. It's looking lovely. Y'all, these are like the perfect crop to put like in your front yard because even though it doesn't have any flowers, it also doesn't have any fruit, so no one's really tempted to like steal your stuff. So it's kind of perfect to put up here. And then over here on this side, you'll see I have my little aloe veras down here at the bottom. And these were the transplanted marigolds. I have to go ahead and deadhead them. But I'm just going to leave them in here a little bit longer before I actually put them into the ground. And I made a no-dig garden here, and it looks like something's been digging in it already, even though there's nothing in here just yet. And I'll probably talk about this at a later date, but I'm going to extend this no-dig garden all the way across the front here. But for now, I just got done with a corner of it yesterday because I almost burnt to a crisp trying to put it in. Now here is my tomato plants. I call this the dine-in part of the garden. And so I put these on this side of the house on purpose because I wanted to kind of test how the sun hits things and how they do over here on this side, and see if they'll be free from some of the diseases and blights and things that are going on the other side. And I actually have more tomatoes to put in here, but you'll see some of these plants are already starting to put on some buds, and I'm debating on whether to take those off or not. And all of them have a little basil plant as well. And this one is a Cherokee purple, and I also have some brandywines as well over here. So that's pretty much my tour for today. I tried to make it quick. I'm not going to put any work detail stuff in here for today, but I'm pretty happy. You know, I think everything that's happening in my garden is pretty normal. You know, yellowing leaves, there's been lots of rain. We have a little bit of powdery mildew. We have a little bit of insect activity, not a whole lot. You know, some eaten leaves, but that's all a part of, you know, it's all a part of gardening. So I'm just going to just take care of those things today. Make sure I don't leave it for another day, because, you know, y'all, procrastination is a killer. When you say I'm going to wait till tomorrow to do something, most likely your plants will suffer by the next day. And I have kind of found that out. So I'm going to kind of take care of those things today, and hopefully the plants will live another day. So that's it. Make sure you give this video a thumbs up and subscribe, and also stay tuned for the 5B garden tour, which is Bobby's garden. Remember, this is the 9B in Central Florida, and I want to thank everybody for being part of our community, and we'll see you next week. Bye.